life by transforming lobbies, creating history walls, and beautifying facilities.
For over 32 years, Captivate has been the MVP of trade show exhibits and workplace design and fabrication. Let Captivate craft immersive branded environments that tell your story boldly, beautifully, and with purpose at events and around the office.
Score big by making your next event or your own space unforgettable. Create something legendary by getting started today at CaptivateExhibits.com.
Loyalty, family. Few things are more important. This is WTMJ's Steve Scafidi and Loyal Family Renovations. They saved the day after a brutal storm in Oak Creek. Hail damage, yeah, I had a lot of it. But Jeff, Jake, and the whole team, absolute pros, made the entire process smooth as can be. Let's be honest, not everyone knows how to deal with adjusters. They handle all the questions, quick answers, top-notch customer service. In just 2 days, my roof was done. If storm damage hits, call the team that made it easy for me. Loyal Family Renovations. Visit LoyalFamilyRenovations.com.
Are you an HVAC service tech with 5 years or more of experience? Ready to take your career to the next level? Steamfitters Local 601 offers customized training programs designed to help you advance, earn higher pay, and enjoy better benefits. With a clear path to success, you'll get the skills you need for a brighter future. Don't wait. Contact Steamfitters Local 601 today and start your journey toward a rewarding career with more opportunities. Visit steam601.org to learn more. Steamfitters Local 601, keepers of the craft, powering Wisconsin.
It's Quick Trip's Around the Bases contest with Old Wisconsin. Want in? It's easy. Just stop by your neighborhood Quick Trip, purchase any Old Wisconsin product with quick rewards, and boom, you're entered. Choose from beef and cheddar, beef and jalapeno, or bourbon and bacon smokestacks. If you're selected and the Brewers score in the first inning, you'll get a $100 Quick Trip gift card. Get all the details at quicktrip.com/sweepstakes. No purchase necessary. Quick Trip and Old Wisconsin, proud partners of the Brewers Radio Network.
Get up! Get out of here and go!
Covering the Crew all season long on WTMJ, it's Brewers Extra Innings. Now live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee at the Avenue. Here is your host, Dominic Cotroneo.
Alrighty, all good things come to an end, right? The Brewers fall in 10 innings today. Not their best game, they would be the first to tell you, as a 3-2 final score. But man, there was about 10 minutes there where you're going, oh my goodness, this is nuts. Let's get a couple of things out of the way right before we get to the highlights and we hear from Craig Gashawn to break all this one down. No, they weren't going to use any of that leverage pen today for 3 consecutive days. So all of the following were down: Nick Mears, Aaron Ashby, Jared Koenig, Abner Uribe, Trevor McGill. That is 5 out of your 8 not available. They probably had Shelby Miller as the last guy they wanted to use. He probably would have pitched the 11th, and they weren't going to enjoy it if they got to an 11th inning. The Brewers were depleted in the bullpen. That being said, the Brewers' offense didn't show up to where there were 25 outs on the board. So for everybody that wants to say, this is all Murph, can't believe it, hey, they won 14 in a row. They were due. They got a doubleheader tomorrow. They lose the battle. They won the war. They won the series. Now they get the big one coming up with the Cubs. It's okay. Sometimes you got to make sure you only take one step back to make sure it doesn't become a slide. Save this bullpen, save the arms down the stretch, and see what's to come. We'll talk about the decision there in the 9th inning to pull Tobias and go to Grant Anderson, why that could have happened. But at the end of the day, the Brewers left opportunities on the bases, and Andrew Abbott pitched great for the Reds. So don't take anything away from him. The Brewers' offense didn't show up again until 1 out in the 9th inning. That's the reason you lost the game, not because of bullpen decisions or Pat Murphy or that sort of thing. Anyway, with that being said, it's a walk-off win for the Reds, but let's give you the highlights next.
Ready for this?
Out of here!
This?
Brought it back! Ho, ho, ho!
And this?
It is gone!
Time for tonight's highlights.
Andrew Abbott, an all-star for the Reds, going up against the veteran former all-star Jose Quintana. In the first inning, Quintana was already in a little bit of hot water after a walk to Steer and a single by Ellie. Andujar flied out, and he was due for Austin Hayes.
Here's the 3-2 pitch, and a swing and a miss. He struck him out. Got him with the curveball. Quintana gets a big ortho ASAP strikeout, and he gets out of the bottom of the first with no damage done.
It would set the stage for what the rest of the day would look like for Quintana, because this was his best start in quite a little bit, and quite frankly, this loss is not anywhere near his responsibility. Problem is, the Brewers went 8 up and 8 down The first time through against Andrew Abbott, a bloop triple by Brandon Lockridge was their first hit. The Brewers didn't really even have a scoring threat until the fifth, when it was Lockridge up again with 2 outs and runners on first and second.
Abbott's first pitch to him is a chopper off the end of the bat up the first baseline. Going to be a tough play. Abbott fields and then flips to first in time to get Lockridge, who is sliding into the bag. That is a tremendous play by Andrew Abbott.
I mean, brilliant. The fact that he was left-handed was the only chance. A barehand shovel pass over to first base. If he didn't make that play, it would have been bases loaded for the top of the order. Instead, it ended the frame. The Brewers are pretty quiet with runners in scoring position once again today. In the sixth inning, the Brewers still have Jose Quintana out there and still a scoreless game, thanks in part to the defense of their own.
2-2 is a one-hopper. It eats up Durbin. He finds it, throws across, and a stretch by Vaughn. They got him. Oh, goodness gracious. It ate up Durbin. The ball climbed up his glove. He found it as it was falling. Look what I found, and he one-hopped it across in a great stretch by Vaughn, and Brewers defense continues to just be ridiculous.
I mean, how about it? I mean, that was tip drill, that was hand-eye coordination, that was arm strength and everything. Heck of a play from Caleb Durbin. Now, decision here from Murph. He's through 6 innings with Jose Quintana at 90 pitches, but he decides to send him back out for the 7th because of the tough situation with the bullpen. It is still a 0-0 game. A 2-strike leadoff double by Austin Hayes. A single through the right side by Marte. It had men on the corners and nobody out for Jose Trevino.
1-0 pitch. Fly ball into right field is deep enough to get the run in. Back to the warning track. Lockridge at the wall, leaps up. Lockridge made the catch. He might have brought it back from going out. Tagging and scoring is Hayes, and also advancing to second is Marte on a deep sacrifice fly by Jose Trevino. The Reds lead 1-0.
How about that play from Lockridge? And it was huge because then Murph would go to Tobias Myers and he would retire Hayes and Lux in order to end the 7th. Brewers offense got a 1-out walk in the 8th. Couldn't do anything with it. Tyler Black was thrown out trying to steal. Myers returned for a 1-2-3 8th inning, so it's the stage set again, just like last night. Down a run against Emilio Pagan. And once again, a leadoff walk, this time to Anthony Siegler. Durbin failed to drop down a bunt. He ends up popping out on the infield. 1 out, men on first. Wild Bill at the plate.
First pitch, and a fly ball left center field, well struck. Back is Benson at the track. Wall, gone! Wild Bill to left center. 2-1 Brewers. Listen to the Brewers fans taking over.
Well, for the next 10 minutes, you think, oh my goodness, they're doing it again, up 2-1, but the bottom of the 9th would not go their way. An error by Bryce Terang, of all players. At shortstop, though, since the Brewers did a pinch hit for Joey Ortiz, led off the frame. Then a fly out would actually take Myers out of this contest and go to Grant Anderson with 5 consecutive righties due. But Marte would hit a single through the right side, followed by Trevino's RBI single to tie the game. Anderson buckled down and got Ke'Bryan Hayes to K. They would walk McLean before ultimately getting Friedel to pop out. In the 10th, the Brewers failed to score with a failed bunt attempt and then couldn't get a ball out of the infield. After some intentional walks, all that was left is to put the ball in play.
Anderson coming set, and he throws. Line drive, base hit, pull past the diving third baseman Siegler. It rolls all the way to the wall and left to end the 14-game franchise record winning streak for the Brewers.
That's all she wrote. 14, what a ride. Andrew Monasterio is the new Dale Swaim. It has been a fun ride, but we'll break it all down and get ready to start a new streak against the Chicago Cubs. 855-616-1620 is the phone number. 855-616-1620 right here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
At Tony Wendorf and Associates First Weber Group, we do more than close deals. We serve with gratitude and faith-filled purpose. We've sold over $300 million in real estate since 2020, one of the top-ranked real estate teams in Wisconsin, and we're just getting started. What sets us apart? We care. Even if we're not your agent, we'll still help. That's the kind of stewardship the community deserves. If you're buying or selling across southeastern Wisconsin, let us earn your trust. I'm Tony Wendorf, and I want to create your red carpet experience. Contact us at wendorfteam.firstweber.com.
Churio with a 2-run blast.
That's the sound of August Brewers baseball in Milwaukee. Make the most of every remaining summer game day and get your seats at brewers.com/tickets.
Get inside the mind of Mark Tauscher.
The older players on the other team will come and just kind of, what they call it is, we're going to try to find the fish. And you don't want to be the fish.
On Wisconsin's Morning News, every day at 7:50.
So my welcome to the NFL moment is, as I get in my stance, they give me the little smirk like, buckle up. Thing is, you see it on film, every special teams coach is going to say, there's the fish.
Mark Tauscher, presented by Hello Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and Kohler Services.
Streaming services, retail chains, and tech giants are all adding Plus to their names. It's fairly obvious they were inspired by Hasseless mattress. Hasseless showrooms are employee-free, plus unbeatable prices on Tempur-Pedic, plus free next-day delivery, plus 60-month interest-free financing on select Tempur-Pedic with approved credit, plus a $300 MasterCard gift card with your Tempur-Pedic mattress. Maybe we should change our name to Hasseless Plus. Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hasseless.com.
From family barbecue to quiet mornings, a new deck from Outdoor Living Unlimited is built to last. We are Wisconsin's #1 TimberTech deck installation team. For amazing ideas, go to our Outdoor Living Unlimited Instagram page. For a free estimate, go to OutdoorLivingUnlimited.com.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee from the Annex Wealth Management Studios. This is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station. This is Brewers Extra Innings.
Brewers fall today, and the Cubs just won. So, it's an 8-game lead, getting ready for the 5-game set this week in Chicago. And we'll be there, getting ready to cover it all with a lot of behind-of-enemy lines coverage coming up on the north side. Craig Kashan is with us. I'm Dom Cotroneo. Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you by Fifth Third Bank. If you're looking for a banking partner that truly understands your business needs, look no further than Fifth Third Bank. They've got a local team right here in Milwaukee, and they know how to hit it out of the park every time. For 15 years, they've been serving our community with industry-specific expertise and local decision-making that helps your business thrive. Experience a unique commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank, National Association, member FDIC. Well, Craig Kashan, all good things come to an end as I opened up the program today. I think that's what everybody is saying today. But kind of like yesterday, late arriving, you can get away with that once with the offense. Andrew Abbott was really good, but the Brewers going 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position didn't really get the big hit aside from William Contreras' homer. And quite frankly, you're going to lose more games than you win when that formula presents itself.
Yeah, that's right. And, it's interesting, Dom. I was talking to Vinny Rotino about this a few minutes ago on our TV side. If I go back to last night with you on your show, I think I said I'd like to have the winning streak end kind of not necessarily in a blowout loss, but one that doesn't sting. And I take that back now because this one stings to a certain extent, but you feel really good about the fight to the end and just the excitement of that Contreras 2-run home run in the 9th inning to take the lead and for a moment give all Brewer fans that hope of, oh my God, this thing is going to keep rolling. They've got all the magic going, and it didn't work out. But you know what? Grant Anderson pitched his rear end off, did his best. It's a tough situation for him. And they're in a tough scenario with that doubleheader coming up tomorrow and having to, most teams don't have to pre-plan for the next day unless you have a critical doubleheader coming up, and that's what they have. So a lot of factors into today's game. They didn't execute a few times where they could have and did during this winning streak, but it was a fun game, well pitched by both starters, as you mentioned. It really was a heck of a ball game. It's just too bad they lost it.
There are going to be two decisions that are going to be kind of taking the headlines here about Pat Murphy today. And you guys know me, I don't like being an armchair manager because there's always things that we do not know, and that is on purpose. But again, laying out the situation, knowing that 5 of your 8 relievers were going to be down for today's game, and most likely 6 out of your 8 relievers, given they didn't go to Shelby Miller in today's game too, quite frankly tells you they needed as much length and distance as possible out of Jose Quintana today. And that's the first big decision that we'll key in on. They're in the 7th inning, right? He's through 6. He just had a 1-2-3 frame. He's only allowed 3 singles. He's pitching fantastic. He's at 90 pitches. And I think what the thought was there for Pat Murphy was if he can clear through Trevino, if he can get through that righty, that's the stretch where maybe they would start to switch and pinch hit against him. But if you get a 1-2-3 inning, you don't have to worry about it. They're not going to pinch hit Key Brian Hayes, but you do lose the platoon advantage there. And then they probably would have kept Espinal in there if it was Quintana. But then all these what-ifs and all the levers that can be turned, I 100% understand why Quintana went back out there for the 7th inning. It's unfortunate that he gave up a 2-strike double to Austin Hayes, then the single by Marte. But quite frankly, if this game was 3-0 Brewers at that time, yeah, Quintana's going back out there in the same situation. That's just the corner that the Brewers found themselves in.
Yeah, and he got hit hard in that 7th inning. I know the double and the single, and then the longest sacrifice fly you can possibly have is a robbed home run to top it off by Trevino. So, it just didn't work out in that 7th inning, and it just goes to show you how tough it is nowadays for most pitchers to get through 7 innings. But he was in a really good spot, and he had pitched really well, executed really all his pitches in a great mix throughout the game. And I hate seeing guys run out of gas, but whatever you want to call it, it just didn't work out in that 7th inning. But Trevino's blast that could have been the home run, but a great catch out there by Lockridge, that was a hell of a catch out there. I mean, man, jumped over the wall and brought it back in, but obviously runner at third scores. So tough situation there for the Brew Crew, but Quintana did well. I mean, he solidified, I think, my hope too, Dom, is that he was going to be and will be a contributor in the postseason. I mean, I just love his makeup. I've said this, I don't know how many times on your show, that I really feel like this guy is going to be somebody they're going to need to turn to at some point during the postseason, and he's got all the tools to do it. And I think right now he's just kind of tuning up for the playoffs.
I mean, the fact that he's getting stronger now, we saw that blip in June, July, and now here in August, he's been fantastic. 6 1/3, 5 hits, just 1 run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. I mean, in a vacuum, that's a phenomenal start, and we shouldn't be complaining about that effort today at all against the Reds team that's been playing pretty well coming into this. Now, the other decision before we go to a break is, of course, the 9th inning, and this all started with an error by Bryce Terang. And for folks, wondering, well, why does he keep pinch hitting Joey Ortiz and moving Terang over? Look, Terang's got platinum on that glove. 10 times out of 10, Terang's going to tell you he needs to make that play. It was a tweener. It was awkward. It was a little bit of a knuckleball. But nonetheless, Terang is an elite enough defender to say, yeah, I should have had that ball. You live with it, you roll with the punch, and you move on. But the other part of this is that, if that error doesn't happen, Hayes gets out and Myers is out there. Let's say it's 2 outs, nobody on. Yeah, you don't even think about bringing Grant Anderson into this game. The reason I disagree with the move to go to Grant Anderson is because you found Murph painting himself into a corner, and he got caught in between there of wanting to win the game, obviously, and going to Grant Anderson because he had him. I don't know if he saw something that he didn't like with Tobias Myers, or if there's something we don't know about Tobias's health or that sort of thing, but that just felt like, okay, you're going to your last guy available in the 9th inning of a 1-run game. If this goes wrong, which it did, you've got nothing else for the 10th or even the 11th inning if it got that far. So I would have let it ride with Tobias one way or another. I don't see this as a scenario as, I think Grant Anderson's a really good pitcher, and I think he's going to pitch for the Brewers in the playoffs. But simply put, that wasn't a position for him to succeed in.
Yeah, I agree. In fact, when Myers went out, I didn't even think that he was going to come out of the game, in the middle of the 9th inning. I really didn't, especially after after how it started. I mean, it was a tough play at short for Turang. Yes, he should have made it, but that's not the pitcher's fault. And I'm thinking to myself, all right, well, you have 2 outs right there. Myers did his job, and I just did not see him coming out in that situation. So I too was surprised by that, and you laid it out well about how depleted the bullpen is, and now you're going to your last guy already, and this game is far from over as it turned out. So that's just the way things went there. I will say this, just going back to the Ortiz, the last couple of games he's been pinch hit for late, and these games have been close. I'm just going to take this stance because I know this is going to ride yet for part of the rest of this season. I just don't feel like the Brewers have anybody on this bench right now that is going to be a better hitter late in the game than replacing Jory Ortiz's glove out at shortstop. So I don't even pinch hit him. I would like to see him moving forward not get pinch hit for, because, and this is not a knock, I'm just saying this is how I believe that this offense is riding right now. But the defense late in the game of all these close games is so much more important. I say keep your defensive guys where they are. They're so strong. But today it didn't work out. Turang, yes, he should have made that play, Dom, but that's just my stance on pinch hitting for Ortiz. I just don't see the need to do that right now.
I agree. And then furthermore, with the injured guys, maybe you do it for Reese, maybe you do it for Bowers, a guy that can change the scoreboard. And I get why they went to Black, because he got on base, but then he got thrown out. But again, I think if you're going to pinch hit for Joey, it's got to be somebody that can change the scoreboard, which I think we're in agreement on that. But then furthermore, one last thing, and we'll go to break. Grant Anderson, we could be sitting here on the other side saying, man, what a great effort for him, because, I mean, the numbers support the move, too. Righty's only hitting 179 against him with a 513 OPS. He was in a string of 4 consecutive righties there that we're not going to get pinch hit for, in Marte, Trevino, Hayes, and McLean. So, yeah, the multiple things can be true. Turang needs to make the play, and Grant Anderson makes better pitches against the righties that he's supposed to get out, and we're talking about 15 wins in a row.
Yeah, but you know what else? I don't want to be in that situation if I'm him, where you got to intentionally walk the bases loaded, not once but twice. And
I don't blame him at all for the 10th inning.
It's a different type of pressure for sure. But yes, execute your pitches, which he had a tough time doing here, and could have been one of the reasons he was sent down to AAA, and he's only on this roster right now because DL Hall got hurt. So that's kind of that whole situation.
Yeah, very interesting for the Brewers bullpen heading into Chicago. The only saving grace, though, was while the Brewers had to use all these arms the last couple of games, and obviously tomorrow is a doubleheader, the Cubs had to use a ton of leverage arms the last couple of days against the Pirates, right? So Andrew Kittredge just pitched in 4 out of the last 5. Brad Keller just pitched in 3 out of the last 5. Daniel Palencia pitched in 2 out of the last 5. So there's going to be some hanging arms in this bullpen heading into this big series coming up this week in Chicago. Take a breather. Talk about some positives, though. There were some things that we'll talk about. William Contreras is white hot. Back after this on 620 WTMJ.
At Cousin Subs, the bigger your smile, the better we feel. That's why our menu features something for everyone, like our Wisconsin cheese curds, golden fries, creamy shakes, and mac and cheese, all paired with your favorite sub, or our subs in a bowl. And don't forget our kids' meals, now with a free cookie. Here's to a better day. Cousin Subs. We believe in better.
There I was outside doing some yard work when I noticed my neighbor looking over his windows. He's climbing up and down his ladder, and I hear him holler to his wife, "Honey, we're gonna need a few new windows." So I took a walk over and said, "Hi Ron, do you mind if I take a look?" He said, "Go right ahead." And I said, the window itself, which is the framework to the glass here, looks fine. And the sill, which is the bottom of the framework, that's fine too. It's the glass that needs replacing. The seal must be broke, and that lets in the moisture we're seeing. That's why your windows are fogging up. And he said, so I don't need new windows? And I said, no, actually, if you want, I can have the glass replaced and they'll basically be as good as new. And believe me, it'll cost you a lot less than replacing these. This is Stacy Sinks with Les's Glass Service. If it's a new glass shower door, fogged or broken insulated glass replacement, or affordable glass and mirror home decor that you've been looking for, you just can't pass on Les's Glass. Les's Glass Service, serving all of southeastern Wisconsin. Find us at lesglassservice.com.
At Hazelden Betty Ford, treating mental health isn't just about breaking old patterns, it's about braving new ones. As the leader in alcohol and drug treatment for 75 years, we know caring for addiction, anxiety, depression, and trauma goes hand in hand. We're here for you with new tools when life breaks down. Discover your path to better mental health at hazeldenbettyford.org/Wisconsin. Sponsored by Hazelden Betty Ford Foundation.
When you breathe well, you live better. Find out more at adventknows.com.
Welcome back to Brewers Extra Innings.
Brewers Extra Innings is brought to you by Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electric. Keep your home running right with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. When you book a service call this month, you'll be entered to win a $250 home improvement gift card. It's through their Fix It and Win It event. Head to cider.com today to book. With Craig Kashan, I'm Dom Cotroneo. Brewers fall in 10 innings today, 3-2. The winning streak is over at 14 games. Now, William Contreras, he had one hit today, none bigger, of course, than that home run in the ninth inning to give the Brewers the lead at the time. The last time a Brewer hit a home run to take the lead while the Brewers were trailing in the ninth inning or later was Willy Adames against the Royals last year, if you can recall that one, the 3-run shot when he called it against the fans there sitting in the front row at Kauffman Stadium. So good company there for William Contreras. And we got to kind of center in here now on William because, oh, by the way, the numbers continue to climb, and he's probably got another 150 or so plate appearances in him in the rest of the season. His on-base percentage is on par with what it was last year. 365 last year, 361 this year. Yes, the slugging is down by 65 points, but that's now 13 home runs, and he's one of the league leaders in the second half right now in the National League. 318 average in the second half and a 956 OPS. The fact that we're seeing Wild Bill get going again is an exciting thought getting into the home stretch here.
And you know what, Tom? I was not 100% sure we were going to see this turnaround. It just has not been his year up until this point, and that's unusual for him as well. But it really is amazing to me how the great players step up at the right time, and this has clearly been the right time. This period of time here that we've been going through with him, and then knowing what is there 6 weeks left of the baseball season for the playoff run, just how dedicated he is to figuring out a way to get it done. And he has the entire time stayed behind home plate and caught most of these games on top of getting his hitting back. So just an outstanding performance by this guy, and effort especially. That home run today, man, I just want to remember that for the future, that, you know, this could have been part of 15 straight. And man, I would have loved to have seen this home run in a winning streak for years and years to come, for sure. But we're going to see more big moments from him. He's just built to win, and he's so valuable to this team.
I think with William being the thump in the middle, and there's a text in here asking, when is Jackson Chourio going to return today? When is he going to return? Because, by the way, yeah, he didn't play at all in this winning streak. So you can start to imagine with this lineup when it gets back to full strength, right? Isaac Collins didn't play the weekend because he's welcoming his first son into the world. Blake Perkins didn't return till today, and he didn't have a great day today nonetheless. But you start to imagine this lineup that features, you know, Frelick in the leadoff spot, Chourio hitting second, Yelly hitting third, Contreras hitting fourth, Vaughn hitting fifth, and then Collins hitting sixth, Terang hitting I mean, like, that is, we haven't seen that full strength for a little bit now, and having Vaughn going like he's going, like, I'm sitting here going, that cog in the middle, William Contreras, he's always able to draw a walk. He's going to have protection in the lineup with him, with Andrew Vaughn hitting behind him and Isaac Collins hitting behind him. This lineup is going to be in really good shape come September and October.
Yeah, and the thing about it, like you said, we haven't seen this lineup yet, mostly because of, serious injuries or nagging injuries, and they all kind of happened, in a big cluster of time right in the middle of the season. And some of these injuries turned out to be longer, namely Jackson Churio, and I think even Rhys Hoskins' injury turned out to be longer than we originally thought it was going to be as well. Yet this team collectively came together and started playing their best baseball. And I think the biggest question I think anybody has out of this group that went on this winning streak is how much longer can they keep doing something that even resembles this all the way down to the playoffs? And they don't have to. They are going to get some of these guys back, and some of these guys are going to be big contributors, at least they should be. And then some of the other players that are on this team right now will be back to kind of being role players, but it adds depth. And that's, I think, the key for this team here right now is most of these guys have experienced a lot of really positive things. Winning does a lot of things for guys, man. It's the best tool to learn what you're doing wrong while your team is winning and all the things that you're doing right as well. And then to be able to celebrate as much as these guys have been able to celebrate and go after it again, drives competition up. So they're in good shape, man. They're in real good shape here especially when they get these guys back.
Yeah, I think the Brewers, quite frankly today, with their offense and with the lineup we saw today, they're trying to save Sal Frelick when they can. He's still dealing with his leg, and I know some folks might say just put him on the IL and make sure he's healthy. Sal's not wired like that, and he knows how to throttle himself, make sure he stays healthy. Abbott is extremely difficult against lefties, and that's why the only lefty in the order today was Yelly, and he went 0 for 3 against Abbott today too. So what I see from the Brewers lineup right now is get right, get ready for the Cubs. Big doubleheader coming tomorrow at 1:20, and we're going to preview that coming up next too, because the Brewers, they release their rotation. We can make some inferences on who will pitch one of the doubleheader games as well, and explain that 27th man after this on 620 WTMJ.
Think of your experienced quality electrician for remodels or smaller projects like replacing fixtures or fluorescent lights to LED, electric car charging port installs, and electric panel swap outs. Codes are about to change that require a more expensive breaker. Quality can help. And for a power outage, count on lightning fast emergency service.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Nobody likes it when their old water heater sings its last song. But if there's a positive side to it, say you upgrade now with a tankless water heater. That means instant hot water on demand. Those old water heaters aren't exactly efficient either, but you ride them as long as you can. And when they can't do the job anymore, call Quality. Whether it's drain cleaning, snaking, or taking care of a leaky pipe or faucet.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
Hey, John Mercure here for Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living. Their mission is to transform the culture of care. They specialize in caring for those with early to late stage Alzheimer's or other related dementia problems, cognitive decline. It's their specialty. They're great at it. And they also offer early memory loss classes. They can help your loved one with locations throughout our state, many here in Southeast Wisconsin. I've been in their facilities. They're top notch. It's kindness at the core. It's compassion and empathy at Azura. Wisconsin-based and family-owned. It's Azura Memory Care and Assisted Living.
Alleviate your pain, rejuvenate your life.
Rejuvenex.com.
Churio with a 2-run blast.
That's the sound of August Brewers baseball in Milwaukee. Make the most of every remaining summer game day and get your seats at brewers.com/tickets.
This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
Brewers Extra Innings, buying or selling, brought to you by Tony Wendorf and Associates. If you're looking to buy or sell a home, trust Tony Wendorf and Associates. One of the top real estate teams in Wisconsin and part of First Weber Real Estate Services, they bring faith, family, and red carpet experience to every home deal. Let's step up to the plate together. WendorfTeam.firstweber.com. I'm Dom Cotroneo with Craig Kashan. Let's talk a little rotation and what I'm buying from this rotation. The Brewers are in really good shape right now for their rotation of how they set it up, getting ready for these Cubs. tomorrow, doubleheader. Game 1 will be Freddie Peralta. Game 2 is to be announced. Now, you are allowed to call up a 27th man for doubleheader days, then they exit the next day. Meaning, in the Brewers' case, they can call up Chad Patrick and have him start Game 2. I'm not saying it's going to be Chad Patrick, but he didn't pitch today. He hasn't pitched since Tuesday. He's got experience against the Cubs. He can give you length. I'm just saying it's probably going to be Chad Patrick in Game 2, which then sets up Brandon Woodruff for Game 3 on Tuesday, Jacob Zarowski on a 5-day cycle on Wednesday, and then Quinn Priester on Thursday. Quite frankly, I'm looking at those 5 starts, those are the 5 main reasons, and Quintana. I mean, Quintana's been great too, but those 5 guys have been so good for the Brewers. That's exactly who you want pitching against the Cubs this week.
It sure feels like they're set up for the playoffs. Like this is going to be the opening of the playoffs. I mean, look at these two teams, battling in the Central. I know the Brewers have this big lead here right now, but you want to protect as much of that as you can. And but look, with these 5 going out there, potentially here over the next 5 games, it's going to be really exciting. I mean, part of what we've got set up with this 14-game winning streak was everybody still had this early part of this week, circled on that calendar. It's going to be the last time that these teams match up as well, Dom. But this is going to be an interesting test for these starters for Milwaukee, because to me, their competition over the last couple of weeks leading up to this weekend in Cincinnati and now against Chicago, all on the road, are really going to kind of tell the Brewers where they are with these guys and what they can expect, in the final 5 weeks of the season here. So I'm pumped up. I mean, what a run that these guys have been on, and then how valuable all of these pitchers have been to this team this season. And Woody coming back has been unbelievable. The steadiness and the consistency of Freddie Peralta, really something special to watch.
When I look at what the Brewers have coming up this week, and obviously they're in the middle, 3 games down of the 19 and 18 days, and they're only going to be able to use their leverage bullpen in 1 game tomorrow, and they still are going to need length from both Freddie and Chad Patrick, if it's Chad Patrick. But then you look at it, if you split a doubleheader, that's baseball, right? That's all you're looking for tomorrow. But overall for this series, as the Brewers enter it up 8 games, you win the season series with whoever wins this 5-game set. But let's say the Cubs win the series and they go 3-2. Sure, they take the tiebreaker, but it's still going to be a 7-game lead for the Brewers with just 35 games to go. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you can really put a stake in the heart here by just winning the series. You don't need to go 5-0. You don't even need to go 4-1. You go 3-2 against the Cubs, you can breathe easy and get ready to celebrate a division crown.
Yeah, I don't think there's any reason for this Brewer team to go into this series thinking that they have to do anything more than what they have been doing lately here, and that's get Game 1 tomorrow. And if they do that, you got to believe with this pitching rotation that's set to debut against the Cubs that you're going to be in good shape in Game 2. And then, man, if you can just keep rolling along like this, Dom, you just take these things 1 game at a time. I know it's the old cliche and whatnot, but the pressure is off the Brewers now that they have built this big lead, and it's also maybe shifts a little bit over to the Cubs that they're trying to get as much as they can in these head-to-head victories, because it's the last time they're going to see the Brewers here for the rest of the year. So I like the chair that the Brewers are sitting in going into this, and I like where they sit too, just previewing what's going to be ahead of them on the schedule here in the final run.
Yeah, I agree. And a question here from Jeff on the text line. You can only have one 27th man for the doubleheader. It's appointed before Game 1 of the doubleheader, which, both teams can't change it all up. You can option other guys and that sort of thing, but the 27th man, the extra guy, can only be one guy, and I imagine it will be Chad Patrick tomorrow to start Game 2 for the Brewers. And then, the other thing I'm selling right now is, Pete Crow Armstrong, he started to get back on track this week against the Pirates. He had been, 3 for 40 or something at one point. He went 2 for 4 today. He continues to be a thorn in the side. But, man, the big thing you got to focus on this week, Craig, keep Kyle Tucker down. Kyle Tucker has not hit a home run since mid-July. His last homer came on July 19th. And at that time, the Brewers were only up by, I think, 2 games in the division. So keep him down. Keep whatever slump he's going through, keep that rolling, because the Brewers are going to try to go into a rocking environment and win a series and maybe take the division with it.
Yeah, I agree. Keep him down as much as you can, for sure. I mean, he's a great player. One swing, one home run. All these great players need in baseball is that one click, and you don't want to give him the opportunity to do that. So that's definitely offensively for Chicago. That's the key to the series for sure. They were quiet offensively. They were quiet really offensively in this entire series that they just faced the Pittsburgh Pirates, the same team the Brewers battered around in Milwaukee early last week. So it'll be interesting to see if these guys for the Cubs are just going to be kind of down and out here for a while, or if there's going to be any type of wake up. But as you go into this, as you always say as an analyst, man, just get out of town before these guys get hot. And that's pretty much the bottom line here, Monday through Thursday. It's going to be fun, though.
Yeah, and we'll be down there at Wrigley Field. At least I will be. We'll be talking to you over the phone lines coming up I-94. But, man, I'm fired up. We're going to talk to some folks. We're going to have some fun times. Got some pre-games. We got post-games. A lot of content coming to you from the friendly confines. And, Craig, we'll have you on a couple shows this week as well. All right, they're 14-1 over their last 15, and they're still 29-5 over their last 34. So Brewers are still in really good shape. Chalk one up. No big deal. Franchise record. Enjoy it. Let's start a new one tomorrow.
You got that right, Dom. Looking forward to it. This will be a fun one for sure.
All right, Craig Kashawn here on WTMJ. I'm going to catch up on some of these questions in the text line. We'll hear from Pat Murphy a little bit later as well here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Looking for localized banking solutions and a strategic partner? Fifth Third Bank has been shaping the future for businesses for 167 years and for the last 15 right here in Milwaukee. We offer industry-specific expertise, local decision-making, and extensive experience to help you navigate the ever-changing business landscape with your business in mind. At Fifth Third, we're big enough to provide sophisticated solutions and expert guidance, yet empowered to make local decisions and build strong community connections. Experience the commercial banking value only Fifth Third can deliver. Fifth Third Bank National Association. Custom solutions built around your goals. Member FDIC.
Hunting season's just around the corner. Time to gear up with the best names in the business at prices that will not be beat. Like a Wildview 16-megapixel trail cam for just $34.99. The Big Game 16-foot Warrior Pro tree stand is on sale for $149.99. And take aim and comfort with a Hawk Big Denali luxury blind chair for just $134.99. Stop in for these hunting specials and more at your local Fleet Farm. And check out all our weekly deals at fleetfarm.com.
Hey, John Mercure here for Certa Pro Painters. They painted our house, the outside of the house, fantastic. They did the parts in the sun, the parts in the shade, the parts on the north side, the parts on the south side. They paid attention to detail the whole way. They went the extra mile all day long. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C for your home or your business. They do both. They pay a lot of attention. They took a lot of time with our house, and it looks absolutely perfect. Each Certa Pro Painters business is independently owned and operated. They're the real deal. They're the best in the business. It's Certa Pro Painters.
So let me ask you, when the government, and again, I'm doing the air quotes, tightens the belt, who's standing underneath the belt when it snaps back?
This is The Truth Unfiltered with Denise Thomas and Dr. Ken Harris.
Don't want you to agree. Honestly, should I be transparent? I don't really care if you agree. I, like you, want to be heard.
Sundays starting at 7 on 620 WTMJ and Mondays at 6 on 1017 The Truth. This is Brewers Extra Innings.
Welcome back. Brewers fall in this one. 10 innings. The streak is over. Player of the game, even though it was a loss, it's presented by International Autos Group. Just like the game's MVP, you can drive into summer in style and save up to $10,000 on in-stock BMWs, Audis, Mercedes-Benz, and more. No tariffs, just huge savings. Visit IAMilwaukee.com, International Autos Group, where ordinary needs to be extraordinary. Easily William Contreras for even giving the Brewers an opportunity to win this game in the ninth inning with the big 2-run homer, his 13th of the season, and that was his biggest one by far. I also just want to give an honorable mention to what Tobias Myers has done developing this splitter, because he is force-feeding it right now. He is letting everybody know, hey, I throw a splitter now too, and if you haven't read the scouting report, I'm going to get you to swing and miss on that pitch. Because for Tobias, I know it's been a frustrating mental year for him, given, you don't necessarily lose your job as a starter when you get injured, but yet the Brewers got such great contributions from Logan Henderson and Chad Patrick, and then he gets pulled from a game early against the White Sox in the eyes of Pat Murphy. And, for him to have this trying of a year, now he's not starting games and he's relieving, not because of a lack of performance, just because there's no room in this year's rotation, right? When you look at it today, he got 13 swings total on all of his pitches and 6 swings and misses, right? And over a 40% whiff rate. And on that splitter specifically, 57% whiff rate, 4 out of 7. The cutter had some whiffs too, so the fact that he's able to combine the splitter and the four-seamer very well, throw in the cutter here and there, you look ahead to next year, because sometimes you have to. And you imagine with all the free agents that are to be, right? If Woodruff departs, Quintana a free agent to be. You've already lost Nestor Cortez. I don't think the Brewers would trade Freddie Peralta, but you can imagine a rotation that has Freddie, that has Tobias, that has Miz, that has Priester, that has Patrick. Haven't even mentioned Robert Gasser. Haven't even mentioned, Logan Henderson. So the Brewers are knowing they have something great with Tobias Myers and want to continue to develop him in the big leagues. Sam in New Berlin, I don't want to blame Bryce Terang. This error, though, was pivotal in the loss. He's extremely capable at short, but I still would rather have him at second and Ortiz as the shortstop. They are your best defensive personnel. I agree. And I think Craig and I touched on that a little bit of, if you're going to pinch hit Joey, it's got to be for somebody that can change the scoreboard, and maybe we see that later on in the season when they get back to health. Doug, it's back to reality, but I enjoyed the fantasy ride. I'll never forget it. Just don't slump, as it would be bad timing with the Cubs coming up. Brody from Highland, you knew the streak was going to end at some time. Guess it just had to be today, I guess. Still a miraculous run and even had great chances today. The question, though, it's not easy because Anderson didn't seal the deal, but why pull Tobias in that moment? And Pat Murphy also will explain in the next segment, you'll hear in a moment, but Kurt Hogue of the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel saying that Murph's reasoning was he wanted a ground ball and felt that his odds were better by getting a ground ball with Grant Anderson as opposed to Tobias Myers. And he did reveal that Tobias would have finished the inning if the first two batters did not reach, of course, with that error. But to that, we talked about saying, hey, I probably would have just left Tobias in, let it roll, let him learn something new, and see if he could get through that one. But hey, 14 in a row, that's the first real mistake, if you will, from this one. I think a lot of folks are in agreement about the Joey Ortiz pinch hitting, though. George from Milwaukee agrees here on the text line as well. A few others later down in the column. But nonetheless, they're in first place. They're 8 games up, and we will hear from the skipper in just a little bit. But the other thing I want to point out about today's game for the Brewers, and something I just want to, not want to say raise alarm or cause caution for, but just point out the fact that the Brewers' top third of this order, and again, Frelick didn't play, Terang came off the bench, and today, Monasterio, 0 for 3. What are you going to do? It's baseball. Durbin, 0 for 4. His cold month or so continues since that great Dodgers series he had. And Yelly going 0 for 4 after the great game against the Reds on Friday night. The point being is, once you get these guys back and you get back to full strength, we're going to keep monitoring this top fourth of the order because, look, it can't just be William Contreras every night. Yelich had a great game on Friday. We're not complaining about this in the slightest, but the sooner the Brewers get back to playing Brewer baseball, the better. And I had a note earlier today, we didn't get it into the telecast, but a stat that I was just looking up, through 122 games, the offense, a season ago to tonight. we've talked about this at the end of the first half, too, of where you think the Brewers' offense is compared to a year ago to now, right? All we talked about all year long, how are you going to replace all that offense from Willy Adames, and what are you going to do? How are you going to do this? Well, let me just give you the raw numbers. And a 14-game winning streak certainly helps with this, but 2024 versus 2025 through 122 games, so not including today, plus 6 points on the batting average this year, virtually the same on base. 1 point, but that's virtually the same. Slugging is now better than it was last year through 122 games. 406 to 408, virtually the same, and thus the OPS is virtually the same, 738 to 741. How about the homers? Coming into today, the Brewers had only hit one fewer home run than the 2024 Brewers did through 122 games. And mind you, the Brewers are scoring nearly almost half a run more on average than the 2024 Brewers did. 4.8 last year, 5.2 this year. This is a very, very, very good offense. Today, it was quiet. You tip your cap to Andrew Abbott. He's got deception. He's got funk. He's got command. He struck out 7 today. Didn't walk a batter either. The Brewers are a team that likes to work, count, draw walks, and Andrew Abbott said, nope, here it is. I dare you to hit it, and the Brewers couldn't do it. You tip your cap. That is the beautiful game. That is baseball. We'll hear from the manager, Pat Murphy, coming up next here on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Trust in your family's comfort at home with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. They're the oldest family-owned HVAC company in southeast Wisconsin. 4 generations of Ciders, and their highly trained technicians provide a one-stop shop for all home and business comfort needs, including an emergency service line that's always live and a 12-year parts and labor warranty on all Daikin products. Get peace of mind by scheduling maintenance today with Cider Heating, Plumbing, and Electrical. That's SEIDER, cider.com.
The dance of sunlight on water.
Shimmering, sparkling, beautiful, hypnotic. Houses that overlook a gorgeous body of water are the most highly desired houses in the world.
The Bellamare collection of fine jewelry features classic white diamonds, flanked and surrounded by rare and exotic blue diamonds.
Bellamare means beautiful water. Bellamare, sunlight on water, glimmering and twinkling.
The dance is enticing.
The look is spectacular. The impact is exciting.
Blue and white diamonds created in the heart of Mother Nature.
We'll dance and sing on the body of a glittering, sparkling woman. Bellamare. This blue and white beauty of sunlight on water
Should be worn on the fingers,
the wrist, the neck, and the ears
of the woman you love.
The Bellamare collection is available only at Kessler's. We do diamonds better because diamonds are what we do.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. For 70 years, Geis has been the trusted garage authority in Wisconsin. WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. Don't let a busted garage door get you down. Call my friends at Geis today. With brands like CHI and LiftMaster, they have doors for every budget and will even build custom designs to meet your exact needs. For swift and reliable garage repair solutions, go to GeisDoors.com. You can also visit their amazing showroom in Brookfield and their custom design room.
Don't think twice. Call Geis. For WTMJ contest rules, visit WTMJ.com/contests. This is Brewers Extra Innings on WTMJ.
1-0 pitch. Fly ball into right field is deep enough to get the run in. Back to the warning track. Lockridge at the wall, leaps up. Lockridge made the catch. He might have brought it back from going out. Tagging and scoring is Hayes, and also advancing to second is Marte on a deep sacrifice fly by Jose Trevino. The Reds lead 1-0.
That's our Surfside play of the game. I know it's a sac fly, but quite frankly, if Lockridge doesn't rob that home run, and it's just a sac fly and it's instead of 3-run homer, William Contreras, 2-run homer, you're still down by a run. So that was easily the play of the game. It's brought to you by Surfside, a proud partner of the Milwaukee Brewers. Surfside iced tea and vodka and Surfside lemonade and vodka, paired perfectly with the day at the ballpark and stocked at American Family Field all season long. Let's hear from the manager, as I know a lot of folks want to. After a tough one-run loss, hey, they're human. It's no big deal. Murph explains here on WTMJ.
Q was great. Tobias was great. We put Grant Anderson in a spot that he hasn't been in a lot, and quite frankly, Tobias hasn't been in that situation a lot. But we were depleted, totally depleted, and we needed Q to do what he did. And hindsight's 20/20. If you did this, do you think that you can't ever see? Hindsight's 20/20. But as thin as we were, to make that game close and for the guys to fight back, I'm really proud of them. Big, huge hit by Contreras at a clutch time. That's huge. And, that says a lot about him and, what he's capable of. And, it's just unfortunate. We brought in Grant to get a ground ball. That's what he does. And it was a lot to ask of Tobias and Grant. So very proud of everybody today. But, we didn't play well enough all day to win. Credit to the Reds. Credit to the Reds pitchers. They did the job. So, that's the way it is.
You may have kind of just answered this, but the decision to go from Tobias to Anderson, it was seeking a ground ball?
Of course. That's Tobias has never been in that situation. So Grant comes in and gets ground ball. Marte's against that pitcher usually hits ground balls. So that was consensus. Let's do it. So they did it. Hindsight's 20/20.
If Bryce doesn't make that error, do you let Tobias ride until that spot comes up? And there's
nobody's on base. If nobody's on base, then you let that happen.
I feel kind of unusual to not just lose a game, but lose a game in sort of that way where Bryce's error comes up big.
I think it was a tough ball to give him an error, to be honest with you, because of the way it was spinning and the way it was hit. I don't think it's an error. I think it was a tough ball to give a guy an error. But, it's just a reminder for our guys, every pitch matters. Game ain't over till it's over. And we, if anyone, know that because we've done it this week. But, we're showing signs of being human. So.
Well, Murph, you've said, right, like you're gonna have days like this, and you're gonna have to manage games like this where you don't have everybody available.
Yeah, especially in this stretch we have. We've got a doubleheader tomorrow. We could not go back with our guys today. We had to trust in these guys that have no experience in exactly that spot. So, if the ball bounces a different way, and we win. So.
Was Shelby also in stay away if you can territory? But I'm guessing he would also been the next guy.
Probably wasn't going to use Shelby no matter what, or we would have used him right then. We've been huddling up all day and just now on the pitching situation. We're vulnerable. With Hall going down, it's made it pretty darn complicated. So we're trying to do the best we can to stay afloat with the injuries and with the amount of games we have, and try to maintain guys' health. You can't. We're not in desperate times.
Was Sal available today or recently?
Didn't want to use him. I just made that choice. I told him before the game it would be a severe emergency to use you. Just want to get him off his legs.
Did he aggravate
He did.
Yesterday?
Yeah. Not the hammy as much as the knee. Yeah. So just want to get him off it as much as we could.
Murph, can you reflect at all yet on 14 in a row?
Yeah, I'm proud of our guys, man. I'm proud to be part of this group, and I'm really proud to be part of this group. And we've got a long way to go. And remember who this team is. We need to bond together and stick together and continue to fight.
Do you guys have that second starter for tomorrow decided?
Have we announced that?
No. Till tomorrow.
We'll announce it tomorrow.
All right, we'll know until tomorrow. I think it's going to be Chad Patrick. You didn't hear that from me. I don't know who said that. That was weird. Anyway, the Brewers are getting ready for a big doubleheader coming up tomorrow down on the north side. We've got a lot of content coming up from down there. I'm really excited for it. We'll give you the layout of what's to come, a quick lap around the out-of-town scoreboard, as well as the Brewers fall in the finale. The winning streak is over, but remember the good times we had along the way, because now it's time to start a new 12 in a row, coming up with 5 with the Cubs, 3 with the Giants, 4 with the Diamondbacks, 3 with the Blue Jays, 1 with the Phillies, and then an off day finally, then 2 more with the Phillies on the back end of that. So, give you a quick lap around the league, give you some headlines, give you the out-of-town scoreboard, and our content coming up from Wrigley Field. After this, our last break on your home of the Brewers, 620 WTMJ.
Get away with huge savings at Hyundai West Allis during the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event, where you can make your best deal and save an additional $500 on a new Hyundai. Or get 0% for 60 months and make no payments for 90 days on a new Palisade or Santa Fe. Get Hyundai Assurance and America's Best Warranty. 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. From Hyundai West Allis, a member of the International Autos Group. Visit HyundaiWestAllis.com today. Financing with approved credit. $1,667 for every $1,000 financed with $0 down. Offers cannot be combined. Ends 9/2/2025.
My gut tells me that this summer heat's gonna last, and that means your AC's gonna be put through the paces. Now we all know that AC can take a licking and keep on ticking, especially if it's an Armstrong. But when yours needs to be put out to pasture, call Quality. With over 70 vehicles on the road, we'll be there in a hurry. And with over 60 years of experience, how can you go wrong?
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. Think of your experienced Quality electrician for remodels or smaller projects like replacing fixtures or fluorescent lights to LED, electric car charging port installs, and electric panel swap outs. Codes are about to change that require a more expensive breaker. Quality can help. And for a power outage, count on lightning fast emergency service.
Call Quality for the signature service you deserve.
Call Quality. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
Welcome back to Brewers Extra Innings.
Last couple minutes of the program here. Here's what we got coming up this week. Doubleheader tomorrow, 1:20 first pitch, 7:05 for Game 2. We will not have a post-game show after Game 1, but we will at the end of both games. So stay with us, hang with us. We'll be with you to recap it all after the game. Throughout this week, we will be appearing, by we I mean me, will be appearing on a variety of our GKB programs here, whether it's here on WTMJ or over with our friends at ESPN Milwaukee. So there's a hit scheduled for Wilde and Tausch a couple of times, for Jen, Gabe, and Chewy, for Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, even for Homer. Right? I know y'all know how I feel about that, a few takes that some stations have made over the last couple of weeks, but nonetheless, we're going to try to spread the good word out there, and we'll also make plenty of appearances here. Wisconsin Morning News tomorrow morning with Brewers 360, also midday and afternoon news throughout the week. So plenty of live hits to come. You'll be hearing from me behind enemy lines. It's presented by our sponsors, Cannon & Dunphy and Big Fish Contracting. So a massive thank you to them for sending me down there because, man, this is a series to watch. Now, we didn't expect it to be an 8-game lead when the Brewers went down there when we booked this, but, you know, maybe it's going to get tense. Maybe there's going to be something crazy we don't expect to happen, but excited to be the flagship home of your Milwaukee Brewers, covering the team like a flagship should. So, as we get ready, 1:20 tomorrow, and then a 8:0 or a 7:05 Game 2. Post-game after that. Then back to 7:05 on both Tuesday and Wednesday night, post-games after both of those. However, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday we'll have pregame shows as well with Brewers warm-up. Excited to bring you inside the clubhouse coming up this week. Thursday is a 1:20 first pitch, no post-game show, but we will have the Brewers Weekly that night to react to all of it, and then get ready for Bob Uecker weekend against the Giants. If you haven't got your tickets, you're probably out of luck. I know Sunday is already sold out. Maybe there's a couple of obstructed view tickets available, but nonetheless, it is going to be a rockin' weekend at American Family Field, and a lot of dignitaries coming back to town as we remember and celebrate the life of the one, the only Bob Uecker this weekend against the Giants. The Cubs are the only thing in the way before that. So as we mentioned earlier at the top of the show, the Cubs did win today 4-3 over the Pirates. They take 2 out of 3 from Pittsburgh. That was a game that they used a lot of the bullpen in. Javier Assad had to pitch in this one, but Taylor Rogers, Andrew Kittredge used again, so they have a few guys not available in tomorrow's doubleheader that you would hope to have if you were the Cubs for their leverage bullpen. Other games that matter for the postseason races right now, we're keeping an eye on if the Dodgers can sweep the Padres. They scored 4 runs in the first, but San Diego is clawing back right now. It is 4-3 Los Angeles in the top of the 6th inning. Mind you, at the start of this series, San Diego was up by a game in the West, but now if the Dodgers finish the sweep, they will leave 2 games up with one more head-to-head series coming up next weekend in San Diego. And also, mind you, the Dodgers will clinch the season series with a win today against San Diego. So they're currently 5-1. I should say, sorry, got ahead of myself there. They will not clinch it. No, they will clinch it. I was wrong. I was right the first time, right? So they're 5-1 at home against San Diego, and they're 7-2 overall against San Diego. So they have already clinched that tiebreaker if that comes down to the end, because mind you, the Brewers' final week of the season is against the San Diego Padres in San Diego. That will be on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of the final week. Off day Thursday, and then come home for 3 games against these Cincinnati Reds. They will be locked in on Sunday Night Baseball tonight, the Little League Classic, live from Williamsport. No, they're not playing on the Little League field. They're playing over at the Williamsport Crosscutters, A-ball affiliate of the Phillies. That game is Mariners-Mets tonight at 6:10 Central Time. As the wild card goes right now, the Cubs have the number 1 wild card spot. Then it's the second-place team in the West, the San Diego Padres. Let's say they lose that game today. They'll be a game and a half back of the Cubs, but still 3.5 clear of the New York Mets. And the Mets, they will need to win today to make sure they keep Cincinnati a half game behind, or a game and a half, I should say, behind them. So the Mets have been stuck in neutral as of late. They haven't been playing great baseball, but this is 4 teams for 3 spots. St. Louis lost again tonight. They're out of it. Arizona's not in it. San Francisco's not in it. And Miami has come back down to earth as well. So this, in the wild card race, it is 4 for 3. And mind you, Philly got some big news that Zach Wheeler is on the injured list. Now, the Mets have a long way to go to try to catch them in the East. They're actually 5.5 back. But with Zach Wheeler down, that is a massive blow. And Yohan Duran got hit by a comebacker. They're waiting to decide if they have to put him on the IL. Philly comes to town Labor Day week, so keeping an eye on them too. This National League is pretty much, we know the cast of characters, right? Philly, Milwaukee, L.A., Chicago, San Diego, and then is it going to be the Mets or is it going to be the Reds? And mind you, the Reds and the Mets meet one more time in September. That is in Cincinnati, and Cincinnati already won the series in Queens. So if the Reds win that series, they also would own the tiebreaker on the Mets, which could, again, be interesting in that final week of the season. That is going to do it for our show here tonight. Can't wait to talk to you tomorrow night. We're on the air first for the game 1 at first pitch at 1:20, and then we'll have Brewers warm up for game 2. A lot of content coming from Wrigley. Our producer is Evan Wittallison. I'm Tom Cotroneo. Keep on swinging.
Hey, ESPN Milwaukee fans, Brian Balaga here for